Dude, I'm always like jamming out in the background when this comes on.
I got rid of Kevin's banjos, so he should be happy.
Listen, we don't want to infringe on your gimmick, my friend, so we had to get rid of it. He
There
did
really
threaten to
are.
sue us too. Let's be honest, Kat. I mean, we won't talk about that in another show, but he did threaten to sue us. So.
You signed a NDL.
Yep.
NDA, whatever it's called. I don't know. That thing. Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome in, and thank you guys for coming. And I saw a bunch in there. Yeah, I wasn't here last week. I think that's only the second or third I've missed in 5 years. I was in the hospital and ended up in surgery at like midnight. They did it at a crazy time on Tuesday at midnight. So I did not feel like going live. So I'm doing better. Tomorrow is a week since I've had my surgery, and they said a week to 2 weeks. So hopefully I'm trying to behave. I promise. It's very difficult. But that is why we were not here. I am feeling better. And look at who we have with us. So Chris from Eazy Pickenz is here. It's his first time on with us. And we put him in the hot seat, which is not nice, but we did it anyway. And then Caddy Corner is Kevin. You guys all should know him, Commonwealth picker. And then my co-host Rod came back. So I'm going to make Chris and Kevin big. Let them tell you about themselves. Kevin can tell you some new interesting stuff he has going on. And then we'll get to your questions. Get them in early. I see we've got 2 super chats too. So we'll grab those after the guys introduce themselves. So here is Chris.
My name is Chris, Eazy Pickenz. I have a YouTube channel, Instagram page. I upload content periodically regarding reselling, whether it's picking or flipping. So yeah, just enjoying reselling part-time, and excited to be on the show tonight.
Perfect. Here's Kevin.
I have to write down a list of things so I can say them all so I forget. So see if I can remember here. Trash Cash Podcast, Commonwealth Picker YouTube channel, Commonwealth Flipper YouTube channel, Garage Sale Nation YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, District Marketplaces. So many I can barely remember them. We'll just start with Dibdit and end with Dibdit Threads, but there's a whole bunch in between. I'll just stop there.
He'll talk about him, I'm sure.
We only have a 2-hour show, Kevin, so I'm glad you stopped.
I know.
There.
If I shield the whole, if I shield,
don't start talking about all your channels either. Between you and Rod, like all of the channels. Oh look, Marsha's even got Kevin's second channel up there. Marsha's gonna be like
Marsha, you're gonna have to work. You have to work.
Yeah, she's gonna be working a bit tonight. All right, let's see what we got. I saw the super chat came in at 4:30 in the afternoon, guys. 3.5 hours before we went live. Broadway Cat sent $5 and said, "I'm selling sewing patterns from 30 years ago that are complete, unused, not cut. Can I list them as new, even if the envelope isn't in perfect shape?"
Chris, starts with you, buddy.
I have to make an admission here. He's in the hot seat because I told Rod I'd come on if I'm not in the hot seat. So I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll do the best I can. Let's see. I was dazing out while you were reading that. I mean, if they're not legit, I wouldn't list them as new. I'd disclose anything that isn't proper about the listing. Even if you can see it in the pictures, I'd still point out everything. That's my opinion.
I'd probably put complete unused, but list them as not, or I wouldn't list them as new. I'd list them as used. If something's not in great shape, if not in perfect shape, it really shouldn't be new.
The term new, the perception your buyer's going to have is going to expect them to brand new in a package. So if the item has any type of issue with it, you can put it as new open box and then put a disclaimer in there. But I wouldn't even do that. For me personally, I would list them as pre-owned, and then in the description say these are brand new, but they did have some slight wear to them, so I would list them as pre-owned and just put that in a disclaimer in there. It's the best way to save yourself from a headache later on.
Yeah, I agree with everybody else. So I occasionally have put new other and then just put like damaged packaging, but you're going to be safer with used, even though they're unused and not cut. Again, and I don't think that there might be a collectible market for sewing patterns. And if so, then the packaging is going to matter if it is a collectible item. So I think your safest bet is going to be to do used.
Kat, am I allowed to give a follow-up answer out of 10? You
may.
Are you sure?
You
people don't do that.
She's not your mother. You can just jump in there, man. Like,
let's do it.
I do this often. You take an item that's new and listed as pre-owned, and it almost always gets bought because you might get a little less, but it gets sold really quick because people will see the best item that's in the used category, and they see it as new, and they look at it and they buy it. So it might be better off anyways.
And I think that's the whole under promise over deliver thing too, right? Like you listed it as used, they get it and they're going to be like, oh, some might be like, oh, well, this is new. And others might, if you put new, be like, this isn't new, So yeah, I think that definitely is your safest bet.
I want to give the buyer any ammo for returns. I mean,
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Where did the whale go? Why can I not find the whale? Oh, I found it. Here you go. Is Gino even in here yet? Where's Gino?
I should have had a secondary demand, which is to not put my fish butt on a super chat tonight, but I forgot. So you're good. All right.
I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna say what else. All right. We have another super chat too from, this is my thrifting buddy. She thrifts with me in person, Elena. She does have a channel, if you guys don't know, Treasure Diva Thrifts. And she just said, thank you for all you do to help educate us. Her and I, when did we go thrifting? We went thrifting like 2 weeks ago. I think we were supposed to today, and I just remembered that. I'm sorry. My mind's kind of not. It sucked because last Friday was a 50% off sale at our favorite stores. And I just that was the first day home from the hospital, and I just was not feeling that. What should we give Elena? I'm going to give Elena the mermaids. Here you go.
Kevin, you might get a fan in there. Someone says fish butts are good.
Fish dreams.
That last one was made by Yvonne, which is who made the fish butt one as well. Yvonne made the mermaid one too.
Yep.
All right. Laura said a very small item was lost in an order I sent. Do I have the buyer initiate a refund? It is one heel protector out of a pair, and it was an inexpensive order.
Well, I mean, if you screwed up, at least offer them some kind of partial refund at least. I mean, if not a full refund, especially if it was an inexpensive order. Right?
Yeah.
Am I reading that right? She lost something. You didn't put something in there.
So it was lost, meaning she sent it and the person lost it. I mean, it like when they unpackaged it, it's kind of a different scenario, but that stuff happens too. I don't know. Did they just send you a message and you're wondering if you should tell them to initiate a refund? So I just would give a pretty generic statement and say, hey, I like my buyers to be happy. What do you suggest we do here? And see what they want. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's Paige. Maybe they only need one heel protector. I don't know.
Jeez. With that being said, I mean, if the item's missing and maybe you didn't put the item in there, you lost it ahead of time. I mean, if it's inexpensive, it's at that point in time, I probably just issue them a refund because it'd be my mistake. So if it's on me, then I take care of the buyer anyway, whatever they want me to do to make them happy. If it's a partial refund or do something like that, I think.
She thinks they threw it away with the packaging. So as a buyer.
So one thing I would just add to that though is that's also the seller's responsibility when you do ship an item. If you have a lot of small pieces, I always put them in plastic bags, so that problem doesn't happen, because I made that mistake in the past where I shipped stuff in a box and literally they sent me a message saying, hey, you're missing an item in here. I said, no, it's definitely in there. Go check the bubble wrap or check that. And it was actually in the bubble wrap because I didn't put it in a separate bag. So now anytime I have small pieces, I literally get a poly bag, put them in a poly bag. Even if it's like real tiny, I'll put them in like a big poly bag so they can see them so they don't lose those small pieces.
Yep. Board games, put shrink wrap around it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. For me, like if they lost, like That's hard. I normally do what Kevin does, though, and I ask them what would make them happy, because 9 times out of 10, what would make them happy is less than what I would have done for them.
Yeah.
So I always ask them, hey, like, what do you think is fair in this situation? And like I said, most times it's less than I would, like if I would have just outright offered, I probably would have offered them more. So I always ask them, and then I know, like, okay. And I've even given like a tiny bit more if they ask for like something, and I'm like, why did you only ask for that? And it's my fault. If it's my fault, I'm going to own it. But asking them, I wouldn't have them initiate a refund either. Yeah. I don't think any of us really said you can send them a refund without them initiating it. You don't want them to initiate that.
Yeah. It's also nice though, because you're actually empowering the buyer, because then you put the buyer has power. Like they get to make a decision that's going to be best suited for them. And sometimes that goes a long way, because you're doing whatever it takes to make the buyer happy.
I think Laura typed this as I was saying it. Yes, the answer is you just give them a refund. Don't have them initiate it. You can just go to the order and click send refund. I always put other, because I don't want to put like damaged or anything. I mean,
unless you think they're scamming you for some other reason, like, I don't think that's the case here, but in some cases, if you think they're, then demand the return. So, but I don't think that's the case here.
Yeah. All
right. Teacher Treasure Chest said, is anyone having trouble saving photo edits on the eBay app, or is it just me? I already notified eBay it isn't saving. So she's going in, she's editing her photos, but eBay's not saving the edits.
Yeah, I don't do a whole lot of editing to the photos in my eBay app, but I haven't had any issues at all with my photos.
I have had this trouble before. It's been a long time, though, and it was just over a couple of days. It happened a ton. So maybe there is an issue going on right now, but maybe it's an internet issue, too. That might be part of it, but I haven't heard anything about it.
So I put all my photos in Photo Room and do all my editing prior to even put them on eBay. But I will say, like, I've had times in the past where I've had some issues where I'm trying to resize a photo or something like that, and then didn't save the resize. But I mean, if you're consistently happening, no one else on the channel, let us know in the chat too if you are having issues, so that we can just see if it's just them or. But I also would say, if you're having issues, you can always delete the app and then reinstall the app on your phone. That may help it.
Reinstall it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say same thing Rod did as far as the chat, because I don't really edit any photos on eBay to know the answer to this. We edit Photo Room and enlist perfectly and then post them. I very rarely do it. But if it's on the app, I definitely would try the deleting and reinstalling. Or you can clear the cache too on there. I know sometimes that can cause issues as well. Let's see.
How long, can I ask a question here? How long does it take for, like, do the questions already have to be in to get to them? Or do you think people are putting in questions now that we'll get to?
They're still putting them they're putting them like we just had one come in right now. We've only got 13 in here, which we definitely will get to all these.
Good. Ask me something about districts so I can shill. So legitimately. So put one in there in a little bit. All right, go ahead.
All right. Teacher Treasure Chest said, is pre-owned clothing description rollout on hold? It was supposed to go live today. I don't think it's a description. I think it's just the item-specific options of the condition, not the description. But I don't know if it's there yet or not.
I just saw something, Kat. This may be the reason why people may be having problems with their photos, because if they're doing a major update to the site, that's also, does sometimes affect other areas. So something just to think in mind.
Yeah. As far as like if there's bumps, for sure. Does anybody know if it's on hold?
Well, I remember I was listening to Reseller Information Network this morning, and people were talking about that. And it's everybody this morning had not seen it appear as an option yet for them. So for whatever that's worth, it's supposed to be here and it's not here yet, or it is slowly rolling out to different people. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe it's not going out to everybody. I didn't even think of that as a possibility.
I haven't listed closed today, so I don't know.
All right. Indigo Blue Gold says, I went to 5 different thrift stores, including one Goodwill. Each had a lot of things from TJ Maxx and similar stores and stuff not worthy of thrifting. Is anyone else having this problem?
Well, I went to the thrift store today and I was having trouble finding anything. I found like 2 books. I was channeling my Beard King knowledge. But yeah, it's been dismal for me lately as far as thrifting.
Oh shoot! I actually went to a Goodwill. I was in Palm Coast and went to a Goodwill, and whew, I remember why I don't go to Goodwill very much anymore. It was rough. It was rough. So my Goodwill here's got Dollar Tree. Like a quarter of the store drives me nuts. But
like that partial new, like the Goodwill outlet store, like or retail store. I think
took out my beloved VHS section. There was no VHS. Like, you're killing me here. You're killing me. And I'm looking at dollar store spatulas. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, so I don't really do a lot of thrifting. In my area where I live in the Tampa Bay area, the Goodwills are extremely expensive. So, I mean, yes, you can find good stuff. I found good stuff there, so I just avoid them. I mean, one of the advantages I do have is that, you know, with the flea markets and garage sales all year round, like I don't really have an issue that I have to go to thrift stores. So that's literally I only go there when my wife wants to go because my wife, she loves to thrift.
Yeah, so if you watch my thrifting channel, I've started putting videos back out. I put 2 out. I'm going to put another one out tonight after the show. I've found 74 pieces of clothing that I thought were worth reselling at the last one that I went to. Now, keep in mind they were $1 each. So my buy cost is very, very low because when we go, there's a sale, they're all $1. So that's at the dollar buy. And I sold most of them on Commons, on District, and passed it on for $4 a piece because that's cheaper than most Goodwill prices. And we just don't have time to list that many. Like they're counting because they count them. Yeah, 74 pieces of clothing at one store. So I do, though, the Goodwills. I don't go to a lot of Goodwills for the reason Kevin said. Plus, so ours isn't TJ Maxx. Ours has been Bell's. But they have new ones in there. And I think the Bell's like donates it to the Goodwill because they're like still new with tags with like the Bell's tag as well as like the retail tag. But I got a bunch of Nike polos like that for like $5.99 and sold them for $25 within a month. So, I mean, I would check some of the TJ Maxx stuff. You might be surprised, especially if it's new. But it's kind of hit or miss, and it depends on what price point you want. You know, I can find tons of $15 clothes like all day long, but I really want to hit a $25 price point. So a lot of those, I would say, for me, are not worthy of thrifting. But here in Florida, well, okay, I shouldn't say here in Florida, here in North Florida, because I know South Florida resellers that kill it. I don't find a lot of collectibles in glass here. I have to get that stuff off of online estate auctions. I can't find that stuff at the thrift store. But South Florida, like Sam Jolie Flips is down in like Palm Beach area. I see her posting like $300-400, all from the thrift store. So I know location's going to matter quite a bit with that. So it might just be your location. Listen, Scott first he yelled at me because I didn't have a beard. And now he can't say the beard thing because Kevin's here. So now he's yelling at me because I don't have a hat. But then it would mess up. I do actually. Hold on. I do have a hat right here. Wait for it. It was $1. Okay, it was $1 hat. I'm just going to. Oh, it's so nasty. I don't know if I can
do not put that on your head, Kat. Do not put that on your head.
But it's a really cool Gators hat. I can't. It's up there because it needs to be washed. I can't. Sorry, Scott. I tried. I'm looking. I don't think I have any other hats within grabbing range. All right. I tried. All right. Miss All Right With Me says, where can I find info on maker's marks for Chinese porcelain? I have some plates that like she's finding similar items that are ranging from $6 up to $1,600. I think they may be from the Ming Dynasty, but I can't find the same mark. I don't know that you have to answer specifically on this, but just answer on marks. You know, if you're seeing similar items to yours with that big of a price range, what do you do?
I mean, find somebody with worth point, I guess, so you can get a good grasp of what it is possibly worth, or like items might be worth with the same hallmark. Google image it to try to figure out what it is if you have no idea what the hallmark is. I mean, that'd be my avenue first. Pretty obvious, but
Well, I tell you what I would do. I would go. When it's wonderful to know people. So you could go into a Facebook group, obviously, and drop stuff like that. If you've done your research first, so don't just like, what's this? You know, do your research first. If you're struggling with some things, get into a Facebook group. There's a bunch of them. We have one, Trash to Cash Facebook group, Reseller Facebook group. But for me, whenever I did this with some stuff that I found super cheap, and I went right to RIN on Reseller Information Network on Tuesday morning, and I got it in the chat and started asking people, and I sent pictures to those guys, and they start, you find an expert in it. And Ming Dynasty stuff, I don't know how many experts are out there, but I would ask Tim over the years and try to come up with an answer. That's his area of expertise. So everybody's got a different contact. So
yeah, I would reach out to my contacts like Kat. I would ask her and get a second opinion there. She may not be a help, maybe she would, but I would Google image, I would put in Facebook groups, pretty much what everyone else here said. It's not something that I have any knowledge on, so I would be definitely looking for some help there.
This is a hard one, and I'm going to tell you what I've done in the past, because there are a lot of Chinese porcelain pieces that are really valuable, and there are a lot of remakes that are not. What I've done with stuff like that is put them on auction with really good pictures, and the collectors know what's valuable and what's not, and I don't. It's probably been like 3 years now. I had some Chinese tapestry pieces. I paid $1 each. One sold for $1,200, one sold for $1,500. And I started them at like 99 cents too. So if they really are valuable, the collectors will find them and they will drive that price up. The other option would be getting, like Kevin said, the groups definitely, but I find like the Asian pieces are a lot harder than most things. I don't pick up a ton of Asian pieces because of that. It's so hard to know. So you could do the groups, and Jocelyn has hers. I think she changed the name of it to Knickknacks now, her group, on Facebook. But I think there's like 60,000 people, and I always get help in there. And then you could pay for an appraisal, but the problem is going to be, it could be a $5 piece. It could be that $6 one, not the $1,600, and you just paid $20 for an appraisal. So if you didn't pay that much for them, I say put them on auction and let the collectors decide if you can't find help the other ways.
Ming in particular is one of the most reproduced, and they would reproduce them in China and sell them to Europeans as real and bring them back. And so even people here think they're real and stuff. So that's a tough one to do.
It's really hard. Like, I don't even put the Ming pieces in my research videos for this reason, because I can't explain to you how to know what's $1,600 and what's $600. And if I can't explain it, like I leave almost all Asian pieces out of my videos.
Some of the Ming reproductions are hundreds of years old. So it's even
and they're still worth money. Even the reproductions can be worth money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like super hard to know whether or not, I just, when I want them, I put them on auction is what I did, because I was $1 in and I got what I got, which happened to be a lot of money, but I got it. I got lucky. All right. Lisa says, I have a question about item specifics. Some items I list require very few, while others there seems to be a lot that are recommended. How many item specifics do I really need?
I mean, it's all item specific. I mean, what does the customer need to know, or what does the buyer need to know about the item to make a decision and help and help it come up in the search? I mean, you have the first set that they put out there. Try to do as many of those as possible. That's what I do. I don't beat myself up trying to get them all done,
I think I would correspond it with my title a little bit. I think the title is so much more important than those. Now, this might not be the best advice. I'm just telling you what I do. Obviously, the requireds are required. I'm all about speed and listing. So I may look through and find the ones that will help me in regards to what my title is, to support my title, something that's not in there in the title that you could use that could bolster the search of it. I really don't focus. I do not even come close to getting recommended full. Not even. And some people do. They want to get the whole check mark. They want to get it all done. I personally don't. Speed is more important to me.
So I do the bare minimum, to be 100% honest with you. I do what is required and what is required only, unless there's something specific that I need to put in there. But other than that, time is money. So what I normally do is when I search sold listings to do sell similar, I look for one that's top of the list, maybe a highest price, because usually the ones at the highest price have probably the best information in there. And I click on that one, I just copy and pretty much sell similar, and usually they have all that stuff already filled out. I may have to go in there and adjust one or two things that's already filled out and just move on. So I'm about time. Time is money, and the more listings I get up, the less work I have to do doing those listings, the better.
Yep.
All right, so I'll tell you what I do. And I think it was Teresa at List Perfectly that gave me this tip. So when you're listing, if you are on eBay, the ones that populate underneath with like a suggestion are probably the most searched ones. So what she does is she'll click if something applies. She doesn't like do the drop down, but if there's like a recommended one there, for me, I'm always checking if it's vintage. I always check if it's signed. Those are always recommended. They're not required, but I feel like people filter by those. So I think more of if they filter by it. But with that said, I have 5,827 listings that have recommended specifics they need done. I don't care. I really don't care. Except for if it's going to make me more of a sale, like checking yes that it's vintage and yes that it's signed. That's the only things that I care about. But if you know how it populates up top and it says like check to select all, like if it applies to your listing, I do that. Do you guys do that?
Wait,
I don't even know what you mean.
Like where it automatically fills it out from your title.
Oh no, I didn't know that's an option.
Oh,
Yeah, it pops up on a lot of my listings when I'm listing, and it'll have like 5 different, like it'll pick the color
on your
and
computer.
all that stuff. Yeah.
You list on the computer. I don't.
Yeah, I list on my phone, so that's probably why I never see it.
Well, because we do the List Perfectly AI Express lister, so ours are created on the phone, but I make them live from the computer. So
I wonder if eBay is using AI based off your title to just generate.
They are, yeah.
They are? Okay.
And they pull up as many recommended as they can. So I just look, and if they apply, I just select all, and then it just fills out like 5 or 6 recommended with one click, which is again probably the most searched ones that'll help you if somebody's sorting them by that. All right. Sarah wants to know, has anyone else had eBay offer them $200 in free offsite promotions? I think the offsite promotions are the click to pay to click, right? Pay to click. Is that what
they
it's
were
called?
in Google, I think, a while back.
I've been offered the
And she's
$100 one.
if it's related to Facebook partnership.
Yeah, not sure. I've been offered the $100 free offsite promotions. I never took it. I never took the time to figure out what it took to get that money reimbursed.
Yeah,
So,
I've been offered before. She said the part of it is this related to the Facebook partnership. I saw it stuff long before they send offers for that. It's been a while, but I've never done it. I have no intention of doing it. And, I don't know. I feel like that stuff's for somebody who's going to have a much different product and a much more similar product over and over and has a massive store. So I would not recommend doing that at all, even for that. I've seen some YouTubers, I think Grams and Pops tried it or something like that, and I've never seen anybody say, hey, go do this. So not doing what we do in our type of business.
The only thing I would say is make sure it's not the click to pay where you have to you get paid. You have to pay every time it's clicked. Rally Roots did a video where they did that when eBay was offering it, and they had like 3,000. I forget what it was, something ridiculous. The amount of promotion it cost was more expensive than what the item
For
was
like $100 item, like $1,200.
Yeah, I think it was going to be like $175 for like $100, whatever it was. But it was.
That's why you'd see if it was like a multi-quantity item, like thousands of quantity, and you got a big.
Like if you had thousands of this, right? Like.
I know a guy who had thousands of those. Yeah. So, but I've been offered it. It was for Google in the past. It wasn't through the Facebook partnership or anything like that. It's to promote your on Google. That's what it was for. I never actually took them up in the offer, to be honest with you. Just like everyone else, to kind of just push it to the side and just continue to do what I was doing.
They got enough of my money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do it either because I'm like Kevin said, like I don't have anything that's like multiple items where it would make sense to use that like business method. Like it just doesn't make sense with one-off items. So even if it's free, there's really no point. Like there's no point in it, you know? And so, yeah, I stay away. I did on Poshmark. Poshmark offered the same thing. They offered $200 to promote your whole closet, and I saw no increase in sales. So I like immediately turned it off, like when the free budget was gone. And then they kept bugging me to do it again. And I'm like, I just like, you gave me it free and I saw no results. Like, why would I do it? Yeah. All right. Trash Cat Rescue says, what do you think would be most relevant in today's world to start content creating? Such as what subject? Not even necessarily reselling. So what do you think would do well? Obviously, we're all content creators in the reselling niche. Some of us do other stuff as well. So what do you think would do well?
Chris has multiple channels, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, I have another channel called Easy Cruising. So I do car shows, and actually that has a lot better success than my Pickenz channel. Honestly, I mean, a lot quicker. I put a lot less time, and I'm almost to the same point that this show is, or that my current Easy Pickenz channel is. So, you know, I mean, it's what are you into? What are you passionate about? What do you like to film? Because if you're doing it just to do something popular, good luck, man. Because then it's going to be like a job, dude. I mean, honestly, you got to love it, or in my experience, you're going to hate it. I mean,
yeah,
it sounds cliche, but
that's a great answer because you could. I mean, if your goal is, you know, to make money to get away from a job, or if your goal is to do this that might be enough motivation for you to learn something that you're not already kind of immersed in and enjoy. And some people will do that. They chase the viewer around. But to me, that's a job. And so I would suggest if somebody wanted to do something that you are already interested in, and you would love to be more knowledgeable about and more interested in, or just if you're not passionate about it, it's going to become a job, or you're going to get burnt out on it.
YouTube is a labor of love because
it's a job. You might love it, but it's still a job.
Well, but you have to love the process because if you start out, you're going to start with 0 followers. You have to create good content. You have to learn to do thumbnails. You have to learn to do editing. You have to learn to film. You have to learn the proper audio. You have to learn all these different things. So if you're doing it, this is my number one rule I tell everyone. If you're doing it to make money, you're probably not going to be successful in it because you're going to realize how much time you're putting into it, and you're not getting any return from it. So you have
only 1% of content creators make money, guys. Right. Remember that.
And you have to be passionate about the topic that you want to do, and you must, and your passion will come through. How many times have you guys watched a YouTube video and you saw that person's like, oh, they're so fake, or this is fake? Or when you watch, like you guys come on here on Tuesday night and you hear us, we're passionate about reselling. We love this, that's why we're here every Tuesday night. So do what you love and it will come. Like you just have to put the time in. You have to just put the videos out and people will see your passion and it will be contagious.
Yeah. And I think like he's saying your passion, like if you have a really specific niche down thing, you might be surprised at the views you'd get that like you think nobody else liked, but that like you're really into. Yeah. I really wanted to start a fishing channel, but I couldn't find the damn fish.
You want to
guess what? Guess what? If I can't catch fish, now if I all of a sudden can find the fish this spring and summer when we go out on the boat, I will do it. But yeah, I'm like, well, if I can't, like, what? Nobody's gonna watch me trying to find the fish, Like, yeah, no, I really would like to. And like, I have my GoPro, and I've done some really cool underwater footage because we go snorkeling. And that would be something I like that I wouldn't care if I'm making money at it, but I would enjoy making it. Because because like we go to the springs and like the manatees and all that and the underwater, which there's a ton of that too. So the chance of making money at that's probably pretty low. There's a ton of fishing channels. But that's something I would do, like if Dalton's with me, almost like a chronicle for him. You know, he can go back and watch those videos. These two, I mean, it's he's not in them as much anymore since he started school. But like a lot of you have seen him from 1 to 6 now, you know, and Kevin's kids too. Like, Kevin, do you ever go back and like look at these old like I had the first time he was walking on my channel, and you know, now he's in first grade. So I mean, they're good for other reasons as well. And I think if you're chasing the most relevant or most popular thing, you're probably not going to be overly successful.
Let me add something to this. You might not have a huge audience for some of these things, hey, so to speak. There might not be a massive audience, but you could still find great joy in it and great fulfillment and some income in it. I see people doing local stuff of their own. They live in a neat area and they just want to expose all the secret places. And I've seen some of those blow up. And there's a bit.
Yeah, people like around the world like their little area, you know.
Yeah.
But also too, like
the locals yell at them.
The money will come though too. Like for example, like Kevin's saying, if you start promoting your area and those videos start blowing up, then you might have local businesses that want to advertise or have you come out and do stuff. So like the money will come for you guys if you put the time and effort in, if that's your ultimate goal to get the money down the line. You know, there are opportunities.
There's more ways than just YouTube paying you to make money from this, guys. There's a lot more ways.
I was making money on YouTube before YouTube ever paid me, just through affiliate links.
Yeah.
For sure. And there are small channels that are making really good money live selling. I want to say that too. Yeah. Like they don't have a ton of followers, but they have a very loyal following and they make very good money only selling live on YouTube. If I can find the fish, I will bring you guys fish. Hey, I promise.
There's a fishing lure channel. There's a channel that just talks about fishing lures.
That's what that niche down. I should have recorded Dave being scared on the boat. That's what I should have recorded.
Yes, you should.
Funny story is when I started my flipping and punching channel, flip, punch, pick is all terms in bass fishing. So you couldn't find my channel at first. All you would find is bass fishing, and people are like, because you know you're flipping the lure, you're pointing, punching it, you're punching it. So like for like the longest time, people couldn't find my channel when I first started. I was like, damn it.
It's hard when you're new because people can't they're putting in your exact channel name and you don't come up because you're like so small. You gotta link
weird like me.
Oh yeah, spell it differently.
It did take me a minute to find yours. I'm not gonna lie. It did. I was like, oh, I'm not spelling it right. I did figure it out finally. All right. Ari says, I want to start selling live. Speaking of selling live, what platform do you think I'll be able to make the most sales?
Well, I'm not a very qualified person to answer this question. I haven't done any live selling at all. I think Kevin might have some input on this.
It's just one of those questions. Asking you shall receive. So
there you go.
I have no doubt that if you're starting from scratch without any support and you want to go on whatnot, it's going to be a struggle. We built a marketplace, Dibdit.com, on the district platform. And we've worked really, really hard to grow an audience around a particular niche. And that niche is pop culture. It's kind of expanded a little bit, which is why we got into these other marketplaces, which I'm sure I'll name them all later. But I'm hesitant because there are people who go on and fail on Dibdit, but they fail because they've really just brought junk to the table. If you're interested in really learning to live sell, there is a great community that will help you do it. If you ever watch me over there, I go with the voice of God behind the scenes and help people live while they're doing the auctions. And it is by far the best way to start live reselling. However, there's a ton. I just approved 58 new applicants over there. And if there gets too many sellers and we haven't grown the buyer base enough, then people will start to struggle. So there's this constant balance we're trying to do, and promotion in other ways outside of the reselling community, because we got to bring buyers to support the sellers. So it's not a guarantee, but I can guarantee this. If I were starting today and didn't have social media, didn't have anything, I would have zero doubt. I would go, if I wanted to sell glass, I'd go to Jocelyn's place and started over there. If I wanted to sell whatever niche it was, I would go to the district marketplaces and find the right one for me.
So this comes up every single show we do on this. People ask about live selling. Do you need to have a social media following? Do you need to do this? And I will tell you a big decision I made. I'm letting the cat out of the bag because my flipper video is going to be coming out soon, but I actually decided to kind of stop selling on Whatnot. I'm niching down on Whatnot to strictly sports cards and strictly doing maybe some Disney stuff from here and there. But part of the reason for that is it's even for me with the following, Whatnot is getting more and more difficult on there, and there's a lot of restraints on there that they do, like Whatnot takes all the shipping money. So I can't control any of my buyers, what they pay for shipping or anything like that. So I control like what I set the pricing on. But for example, like if I do a show today and then want to do a show later on that same day, I have to do 2 separate orders. That's not good for my buyers. I don't like that. Whatnot's taking all that money. So I'm literally moving over to Dibbit to do a lot of stuff on there. I will say it is very user friendly, especially if you're brand new. You don't need a following. We've had people that come on there in the last couple of weeks. I've been on there watching, and that have done their first show with 20 to 30 people in there live. You have partners in there that are there to make sure that you do succeed. And I've talked to Kevin, I talked to Dave, we talked to a lot of those guys over there. We actually launched Dibbit Threads, which we're going to make a clothing market over there, and we are going to do live selling. And a lot of you guys
is that going to be like more individual items?
Yes, individual items. We're going to do individual items, and we are going to be launching in the next week or two live selling on there, and we are going to be doing it. And I know there's a lot of people that on here that tried Poshmark Live that didn't like it. I know a lot of people tried Whatnot, didn't do it. If you guys are people that go with the bins, go on there, apply. I will go through and approve a lot of you guys on there, but I'm going to be on there with my social media. I'm going to be on there helping each and every one of you guys out. Kevin's going to be doing that. Dave, we want this to grow. We want to help. The biggest thing is for us is we want to get back to the community that has been so good to us. And we want to make sure that you guys have a platform to sell and be able to quick turn and flip things to make money. So I would say, and I'm not just trying to plug this, I'm just saying is if you guys, you can try Whatnot, you can try Dibbit, and then you let me know which one you like better. I'm almost 100% sure you're going to say you're going to like Dibbit better.
And I got to say this before Kate answers. You got to be the right person in the right money. You're not going to get eBay money for stuff over there. Period. You're just not. You're not going to get it on Whatnot. You're not going to get it on any live selling platform.
Correct.
Yeah. No.
So you got to be the right person who has quantity of stuff constantly coming. Now you don't on our site. If you want to unload stuff and whatever and getting over there, it's the expectation of people. I think that makes a big difference, and then how they operate their auction. There's certain strategies we're working on, tutorials and stuff that really work because you've got to give the buyer what they need in order for you to succeed. And if you're selling a McDonald's toy for $2 and it's $8 shipping, they're in and out so fast. There's different strategies you can get. So it's the expectation of what you need to get out of it. Don't live sell just to live sell. You got to be the right person with the right mentality in order to make it work.
Is Dibbit only live selling, or is it also?
No, it's static. The static sales are fairly slow, even though they have picked up. The Shop Commons, my wholesale marketplace, the vast majority of sales are static sales. We do have lives, but not very many, because not many people want to bring a box that's worth $200 and start it at $1. They're afraid to do that. On Dibbit, it's the other way around. The vast majority of sales are live sales, but there is a marketplace for static. I made 3 static sales on there the other day. Now it's my marketplace. People search me out, but the percentage, I'd say well over 90% of the sales on Dibbit are live sales. So much like
I was going to say that like for Shop Commons, like I went out and have over 100 pieces, but it's only 6 lots. So that would be a very short show too.
I did 7 lots today, and it took me 20 minutes on Shop Commons, and I sold things in lots. And that's each marketplace has its different niche. Commons is a wholesale marketplace,
right?
Or Dibbit, you could sell wholesale over there if you wanted to, but you're matching the audience that's already been built for you. And so you could sell on multiple marketplaces. Like I'm not selling glass I might on Dibbit, but I went over and sold it on Jocelyn's because the audience is already built for me.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. So you said you wanted to start selling live, but you didn't tell us what. And I think what you want to sell live is really important. I would agree there are all of these district, platforms now that are really tailored to specific buyers. So that's why I think knowing what you're going to be selling is important. I will say I made $250,000 in sales, not in profit, nowhere near in profit, on Whatnot in 22 and 23. And then it took a nosedive. Like the end of 23, I was losing money. So the numbers look really pretty, but the profit did not. I was selling plenty, but I wasn't making plenty. And that's why I stopped. And so not last week, the week before, had just started back up live selling. I went on knickknacks with jewelry. I did it. I was very happy with how I did, especially for a first show back, not scheduled, just kind of went live. And I probably will try Whatnot again, but I think I'm gonna agree with Rod. I think I'm probably gonna say that I'm gonna like knickknacks, on district versus Whatnot, because I have that, audience already built for me. I have 12,000 followers on Whatnot, and I still don't get that many people in there. But, it's kind of, and if anybody that watches me knows, I can do nothing small. So I have to make myself not go live every day because I'm like, oh, I can make money. I need to do 7 days a week. So that's my problem. So I'm going to try maybe like once a week over on knickknacks with jewelry and once a week on Whatnot. And then I'll weigh it. If they're the same, which is what happened in kind of mid-year last year, they were right on point. I mean, they were like hand in hand. And if that happened, I just kept doing both once a week. But I'll tell you, if one pulls out a lot higher numbers, I'm going to do 2 a week on that one versus doing 1 and 1, because I'm going to go where the money's at.
Kat, have you done multiple shows on knickknacks yet and shipped at one time?
I haven't, because of what I just said. Like, I feel like with my live selling, I was oversaturating people. Like, I was going too much. So I haven't really done it. I might, like, if I'm doing different stuff, I guess I could. Like, I have a bunch of purses I need to sell. So I guess I could do like purses and jewelry, and tell everybody, hey, I'm doing purses tomorrow and it'll ship together. And that way, like, try that. But I haven't done enough close together.
If I do enough, or I'm shipping 1 day a week. Friday's the day I ship my marketplace orders. So I can do 3 shows and it all ships out in 1 day. And it combines shipping for all the folks. So it's better for everybody.
So you're doing 3 in a week?
Sometimes 2, sometimes 3.
So I usually do
just once a week. Sorry, Ron.
Yeah. I do 2 a week myself when I do them, because I get a lot of the same buyers that do come back to the second show, because I charge $6 shipping for my first time, $2 additional shipping for anything else. So once you unlock that, you're buying items. And I would say another thing is, if you sell like size items, it makes it a lot easier, And Kat, they have a new feature in there too, where you can duplicate your listing. So you can just quick duplicate. You don't have to, you can just show it. So you don't have to pre-list everything, which is nice. But one disclaimer I would just say to everyone out there, especially if you're a person who goes to the bins and gets a lot of clothing really cheap, that's a great market for you, because you guys have to remember, when you do sell live, the biggest thing is you make your money in the buy, not the sell. So don't go out there and overpay for items and then think that you can sell them on there. Yes, I understand that live selling is not for everyone, but I will tell you guys, if you guys are going to dabble, this would be a great way, because people on there will be there to help you, grab you by the hand through the process, and you can actually co-stream with other people, which is also another huge feature, because a lot of times people have nerves. They don't want to be on camera, or they're afraid they're going to mess up and stuff like that. So having a more experienced person with you as you do it is huge for a lot of people out there. But I will say, like, if anyone listens to Gary Vee, if you guys don't know who Gary Vee is, very successful businessman, does a lot of stuff in reselling and in the business world. But he put out a ton of stuff, how a lot of businesses are changing, where over in like Asia, they literally have a shop, and part of the shop is literally a live for all their live selling. So that's it. It's not going anywhere. So I highly recommend that you guys do dabble in it. It doesn't mean you have to be a big part of your business, but something you guys should all try at least once, because it's here to stay, unfortunately, regardless if you like it or not.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, when I went on District, because I hadn't been on in a long time, the copy feature was friggin' amazing. Like, I was so impressed with that because I do jewelry, so I just number my envelopes, and I could just I made one listing, and then I copy. I know they're all the same weight, and I was like, so it's improved so much in just a few months that I've not sold on there. So they're always improving it from what I saw. And Erin, Rebel Junk, I think she was in here earlier. She told me the same thing. She's like, Kat, I can hop on with you and help you, which is nice to have that option if you do need the help, for sure. I'm an Android person too, but I gotta tell you, the work phone's an iPhone. There's just too many apps. It lives out here in the shed. It doesn't even come in the house. But there's so many apps that are only available on the iPhone, and a lot more features available on the iPhone. For business reasons, I got an iPhone. So my girls all use the iPhone. Yes, the duplicate feature is amazing. All right. Valerie wants to know, for us or anyone in the comments, I don't know if anybody answered this. Food and alcohol boxes aren't allowed. Can we reuse HelloFresh boxes? I'm just going to answer this and say, yes, you can. Alcohol legally can't be shipped intrastate. You can reuse food boxes, but you might want to cover up that it's perishable or your box is going to get treated. But the alcohol boxes are kind of a big no-no because if they see that could get your box confiscated.
Yeah, they'll flag your box.
Cece wants to know, what do we think of the new condition for used clothing requirement? If you don't know now, they have like new, used good, used fair, whatever. Now there's more than just new or used on eBay coming out soon.
Yeah, more options better, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I hate it, but I hate it just because it's different, and I'm an old guy, and different stuff makes me nervous. But I would say, obviously, eBay thinks that this is something, maybe the returns in certain categories are too high. They think this is something that will satisfy the buyer a little bit more or less confusion. So I guess it's all right. I'll do it.
It's 2025. How the heck are we getting this rolled out now? Like, we've had it for like DVDs and CDs for forever. Is it good, fair? Near mint, whatever. Like, how are we just getting this rolled out now for clothing? Like, it blows my mind. eBay's so antiquated. Their sites for so much stuff. It is what it is. It should have been rolled out 20 years ago, to be honest with you. So
I'm going to put this, and I'm going to agree with Marcia. And she says she doesn't like it because it's open to interpretation on what the condition is. On anything that has those, I almost always pick fair, even if I think that item is in mint condition. Because who's to say my buyer doesn't think that, mint means it's new? I always pick the lowest one, the whole under promise, over deliver.
But behind those categories, they usually list a description too. So, like, for example, I'll use like CDs. It'll say no scratches, mint condition, near mint, may have like minor scratches on it. Good, may have scuffs, scratches, or something on it. And then fairs, it will say like has scratches all over it, or damage to the jewel case, or stuff like that. So they usually give you a little description that goes behind it. But I will tell you that scammers do use those, by the way. They will definitely, that's something they use to their advantage if you put the wrong different condition on there. I learned that the hard way with video games, but yeah, but no one reads it, unfortunately. So
yeah, I just yeah, for the scammers. All right. How do you make a graceful exit from a garage sale where you don't buy anything?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is a little awkward sometimes. Usually say, you know what, I'll circle back, or maybe I'll stop back by later. How late are you guys going to be running? I don't know. I'll say something like that on an exit.
It's a canned answer. I say that when you get to watch yourself on picking videos all the time, you figure out, man, you say that a lot. I just usually say, hey, thanks for letting me look. And what's the line? I say every time, and I can't think of it. There's just nothing that I just can't live without today. I appreciate it. No,
I usually just
and I
flip
pet
the
their
table.
dog.
You pet the dog. I flip the table and say, "Bye, Felicia. I'm out." But no, usually what I do is I walk around and then because first off, I always introduce myself. I always say hi when I get to the yard sale, and then I always feel like I need to say bye. So when I head out, I say, "Hey, good luck at your yard sale today," and then I just leave. So
Yeah,
the
I
entrance
mean,
is
I
far
say
more
hi
important than the exit.
yes,
like when I'm walking up, like, hey, how's it going? Whatever. And same thing. If I don't find anything, I'm like, okay, you guys have a good day. And I leave. I mean, I don't feel that that's graceful or not graceful. You know, it is what it is, you know.
now
Good
I'm
luck.
curious.
You have-
Let us know down the chat below. Do you guys give the Irish goodbye? Do you guys just don't say anything, just dip out? Do you guys say goodbye? Do you make a formal exit? Like now, I'm really intrigued what everyone else does. So let me know in the chat down below, guys.
All right. Rebecca wants to know if you end a listing to relist it, do the watchers for that listing go away? I'm just going to answer this and say yes, they do. But for me, if they're watching it, they're not buying it, and I don't care. I could have 20 watchers. I'm still going to end and relist if that's what I want to do.
Yep.
Inland Northwest Hedgehogs. How do you find a specific seller on eBay? I'm going to walk you through this really quick. So if you go, I guess I could share my screen here. Hold on. Let me share my screen so I can show you real quick. So if you go to advanced and then it says by seller and then like mine, look, it filled out mine. So if you want to see mine, there it is. And you click only show items, include, and then you put the seller. You can actually do multiple sellers there. But I don't know on the phone if it's that easy. I don't know if you, I think you can, but I don't think it's that easy on the phone. Does anybody know on the phone
You gotta
how
go
to
to
do
the
it?
seller hub in the phone and go to the advanced search. Same thing.
An easier way
But
to
it would
do
be on the web, not in the app, right?
Well, they
yeah, I don't
have
know.
added it, I believe, but I don't.
What I normally do is I literally go to Google and I type in Commonwealth Pickers eBay store,
eBay,
and it pulls
yep.
it right up. It's the easiest way to
I
do it.
just did that, Rod. I just typed in picking and punching eBay. The very first thing pops up is your eBay store.
Yep.
But don't use that because I don't get the EPN link stuff. Go to my videos and click through down there, and I get the link, buddy.
I use Google to find stuff on eBay all the time because it's such a cluster. You know what?
eBay's, oh man, they don't make things easy sometimes. Let me tell you. So
True.
All right. I think we already explained. Kevin, do you think you've explained enough or would you like more? There's two here. One is what is district and the other is what is DibDit.
Well, somebody else asked a question that I think is interesting. They said, "What is district? What is district? What is DibDit? And what is commons?" So, district is the platform that all this stuff runs on. It's the backbone for it. The other things we're talking about, dibdit.com and shopcommons.net and all the other ones, DibDit threads, they're all marketplaces in the district. And so they're niche down shops. Think about it like a shopping mall.
think of shopping mall is a good example, and then
Yeah,
all those
district,
stores are individual stores in the mall.
The district is the infrastructure, and then the marketplaces are all inside there. Whatnot, individual people have their own whatnots, but in DibDit there is a marketplace designed for pop culture, and inside of that, everybody can sell and communicate and do everything that they need to do.
Now, do you see this one, Kevin? They're saying they're an approved seller on DibDit, but they want to know how they get started live selling.
There's a live seller thread, a chat, and you can go in there and just tell somebody, hey, I'm interested in live selling, and you'll get some advice. We're working on tutorials that are going to be posted soon. Dave, of course, quit eBay, and he's a full-time district seller on all of our DibDit platforms now. And he's probably going to be making some tutorial videos, ADH Dave, that is. But
do you have to approve them again for live selling?
So we don't do that on
DibDit. Is everybody approved allowed to live sell?
On Shop Commons, you would have to be approved for live selling, and you actually have to be a subscriber because it actually too much live selling would hurt the static selling. And there's a big obligation when you have a marketplace like this. One, to bring buyers because we're trying to provide the audience. The other part of it is you want people to have success. And so you want to be able to work with them a little bit. Some marketplaces will allow you to sell static and then allow you to sell live if you go through a process. We don't do that on Dibit. If you want to sell live, you can. You might fail if you do it the wrong way. So I highly suggest people go over there and talk in the live seller chat and say, hey, I'm gonna do a live. It's just a test live. Go on, test it, and it'll be live, and you'll get other sellers over there to help you, buyers in there. I'll probably be voice of God behind you and enter in to the thing and teach you how to do it. Now, I can't guarantee I'm going to do that, but if you title it, hey, test live, and you can go in there, there's a really nice folks over there that'll help you do it.
Make sure if you guys do apply for a Dibit that you guys do click on Dibit threads. We are approving people, and here's a great opportunity for a lot of people. You guys can get on the ground floor, because imagine the people that just started on eBay or whatnot in the very beginning, how much more success they had because they didn't have everyone coming behind them. They were the first ones on there, so people knew who they were and do that. So there's a great opportunity, especially with these launching up now, to get on there early and become a staple to those marketplaces.
You're absolutely right. And we've had some people nobody's ever heard of having massive success on Dibit because they did that. But they went through rough times. We were building that platform. And the same thing will be true of Threads. Don't expect a giant audience. We just started Threads. And so we're building it. But if you can be in the process helping us build it, it'll be a big benefit to you.
I don't normally show my leg. Oh, there's Brooke's legs. You can look at Brooke's legs, not my legs. Everybody wants to see Buddy. That's why I was hiding. Brooke. Oh,
where's Buddy at?
He's there.
Kevin's going to try to pet him through the screen.
My dog was scratching at the door earlier. I didn't even open it. I'm feeling bad.
He's tired. It's his bedtime.
Oh, that's cute.
I was going to have him jump on me, but then I thought twice with my surgical incisions. So yeah. I thought that, and as he's like, what? Jump on you, Mom? What? To me. He is now taller than Dandy, than our 4-year-old golden retriever. He's 50 pounds already. He's very big.
Wow,
he got big very, very fast. Yeah, he's tall. He's not as full. Like, she weighs 100 pounds. But yeah. All right. Come on. Spirit Junkie said, I have iCloud storage. How would you temporarily store photos to allow a helper to use List Perfectly to generate listings?
Lots of questions on that one. If you're using iCloud, you probably have iPhone. Maybe have another iPhone, an older iPhone, and you could just AirDrop and have your helper use that. I don't know. My first thought.
Yeah, I think Kat's probably the best one to answer this, so I'll answer it in a different way. When Jess helps me, she does our live selling, which, by the way, Kat, if you have helpers that help and you pay them, the duplicate feature over on District and the fact that we ship 1 day a week, multiple shows 1 day a week, has cut the labor costs in half. So my margins went from like 22, 23% to like 34, 35% just because of those two features. Something to keep in mind. But when we have her do pictures for eBay, which isn't very much, but sometimes we get overwhelmed and she needs more hours and stuff. So she comes in and I have her make. The way our system works, she has a phone out there. She takes the picture. She creates the draft. Boom. And then she doesn't list it. We list it. So we don't ever have to have those folders of pictures and all that stuff. So that's how I do it. But that's not answering your question. Go ahead. So
I would say for me, my mother-in-law would help do listings just for clothing for me. So I would have her. You can make. So I'm not mistaken. If List Perfect, you can add an admin feature, can't you, Kat, in List Perfectly? Because you can do that. So for me, I thought we got your super chat, Squirrely. Oh no, we didn't. Thank you for yelling at me. I'm getting it right after we answer this. Thank you.
On eBay, you can make an admin account where people
can on List Perfectly too. Yeah. I think it might depend on the level, but. Well, I'm not an Apple user. I told you I have that one, but I'm not an Apple user, so I have no idea about iCloud storage. I'm an Android user. But we do. I would suggest getting we have the iPhone just for that, like Kevin was saying. So like the girls all use this and they create the drafts on List Perfectly with AI Express Lister, and then like Kevin said, I list it. Like I don't. I was discussing this with Trish. She's like, Kat, that's a flaw in your business, because the 4 days I was in the hospital, nothing got listed because I don't trust anybody else to price. I just don't. I have too many one-off things, and I'm scared they'll price something at 50 that's worth 500. And so I felt like total crap, and nothing went up. Actually, now it's been a week. But I'm like, it's hard with like the one-off. I could probably like tell them certain things I would be okay with them pricing, but it's just a pain in the butt. So in our iPhones, what we typically do is buy locked iPhones. I don't care. I'm using it on Wi-Fi. They're cheaper. Like, I don't care if they can't be activated. I don't need them activated. I'm only using them on Wi-Fi. And you can buy those off eBay. You don't have to have the newest model. The newer the model you get, the better camera you'll have. I will say that. But that I would buy a locked iPhone for them to use to do that was only used for that. That's what I would do. And that's only because I don't know about iPhone, iCloud stuff. I can barely save a picture on the iPhone. All right. I forgot to put this up here. And she said, hey, Chris, go Chiefs. And if you guys don't know, the Chiefs are also my number one team in the NFL.
I hate you all. I hate you all. I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I grew up in Pennsylvania.
I my shirt tonight. I didn't even think, because like we don't have another show before the Super Bowl.
This close going to the Super Bowl, Kat. This close. My brother I've been looking at tickets. I locked down a hotel room in thing. I was ready to go.
I'll tell you, like, the Eagles aren't bad. So like I love Saquon Barkley, and like, so if the Eagles aren't, like, I'm a Bucks, Chiefs, Steelers. Those are my top three. So if the Eagles aren't playing one of those three teams, I will go for the Eagles. I do like the Eagles. But the Chiefs are my number one. And unfortunately, the Chiefs were only in Florida for a preseason game playing the Jags. And I did go to that game. I took my mom, and we got nice club seats. It was her 75th birthday. And of course the Chiefs lost. I'm like, what is this crap? Like, I mean, it was preseason though, but that was my mom's a big Chiefs fan as well. So that was the only time, because all the other games against Jackson, Tampa were in Kansas City. So that was the only time they were here the whole season. And we did go to that one. Okay. So she said, hey, Chris, I had to say, like, it's not just Chris. I'm a Chiefs fan too. So she said, thanks to all of you for sharing your time and expertise tonight. I know who's the best one to answer this question. What's the most ridiculous negotiation tactic you've ever used to buy things to sell, and did it work?
Most ridiculous.
Well, first of all, go Chiefs. And for the record, I grew up like 60 miles from the stadium, so I'm not a bandwagon jumper or anything else you might be thinking. Anyway, so I don't know if it's what did she say, ridiculous, but I've used the silent tactic before. Like, ask how much something is, and then they tell you how much it is, and then I just act like I'm thinking about it and don't reply. And sometimes that works. I don't know if of a ridiculous one. I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, Kevin.
I don't know of any ridiculous ones either, other than telling Death Pile Picker I'll let you drive me around to yard sales if you sell me all your Death Pile. But I'm kidding. Partly. I tell you what, just when they asked about how you exit a garage sale, I think how you enter a garage sale, especially if you're wearing a camera, is extremely important. And the questions I almost always ask the same questions. I always find when I'm walking up, I try to find the person who I think is in charge of the sale, and I'll say hello to that person. How you doing today? If they got a dog, I'll pet. I love the dogs anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I'll say something like, how's it been going today? Especially if it's later in the day. Have you had much success today or whatever? Sometimes people are like, yeah, everything's been selling like crazy and whatever. I'm like, and my response to that is, oh, good. So you're happy with the day. You're going to sell it to me cheap, right? And it already gets them in the mindset, this dude's going to probably lowball me. The other part of it is, they might be really, really struggling. Like, yes, we haven't had many people buy today or whatever. And then you can offer a deal on something because they're out there and they want to have something out of that day. So just be a nice person. I mean, not some guy that they're like, who's this dude at my yard sale and whatever. So that's not really a terrible thing, ridiculous negotiation tactic. But what do you got, Ron?
Yeah, ridiculous. It's kind of hard because if you guys watch a lot of my videos on YouTube, like I'm same thing like Kevin says, how you walk into a yard sale is crucial because that can either, right away when you walk in there, I'm friendly with everyone. You want to make jokes. People don't sell stuff to you if they don't like you, plain and simple, right? So you want to get on their good side, but also too, it makes the yard sale so much more enjoyable because you joke around, have a good time. And I'm the king of getting in people's houses. I don't try to, but it just happens where they, hey, come look at my collection, or come do this. So like, I've gotten in some people's houses and I made some ridiculous deals over the years. I was with Kevin one time. We got in someone's basement up in Virginia too, and made some big deals. But I mean, I'm trying to think if anything was like super ridiculous. I don't have anything like super ridiculous I can think of the top of my head. I mean, I've offered to clear out their house for them so they didn't have to pay someone to do that. I've done that. And that's worked. So I've done that.
That's true. You
I've
go
offered,
with Rod and Mike places, you end up in their houses. These guys got a knack for being inside of houses. I'll go in the house, but man, I'm not going to be. These guys can get in a house.
I'll tell you one of the things I do a lot, and because I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to like certain collectibles, and especially with like cards, comic books, toys.
I'm humble.
What I like to do is I'll tell people is, because I always ask, the power of the ask goes a long way at garage sales. That's how I get in. But when the power of the ask is when they tell me they have stuff they don't know what it's worth, I always offer to tell them that if you let me see your stuff, I can, I'll give you free advice. Yep. And that gets my foot in the door a lot of times because it starts a conversation, know the backstory, you start going through there. So that works a lot for me, but I don't have anything like super ridiculous, unfortunately.
I'm not a negotiator, guys. I am not. That's never been like my strong suit. I'll bundle an offer, but I definitely I'm not like, if the price is good, I pay it.
Go into an old folks home and hand out your card. That would be a way to do it. That was a joke, y'all. It was a joke.
Can you give this to your family for when you? No.
Oh my god.
So I'm not Shannon, which she works for me occasionally. She's a hardball negotiator. So like Rod met her, like I brought her with me when we went to do a big buyout, and I stepped back. I'm like, it's my money, but I'm gonna let her talk. Like I'm not talking because I just can't. Like I can't.
That was a crazy negotiation. I had to start like $15,000.
Rod heard it. She was pretty tough, and I'm just like, I'll pay. I'll let her. You guys discuss this. I'm not in it.
You can sometimes find the easy person too, the wife or the husband, and find a person if there's multiple people that you think might be the most agreeable.
Now, I'm not against asking for a good price if I buy all of everything, and I love like how much for all. Like that's one of my favorite things. That I'm fine doing. Like if I buy everything of whatever this is, that I do a lot, but not as far as like $1. Will you take 50 cents? I can't. Like I can't. I can't do
it's
it.
Fun, Kat. It's fun.
I can't.
What's the worst
do
they
it.
can say? No. I mean, come on.
I mean, they could, but I know like
but
when I have my yard sales, I know how irritated I get, and I don't want to be the one irritating them.
I have negotiated people down. If it's sweet little old lady or something, I'll negotiate it down, and then I'll pay her the full price just because I like it so much.
I like the game. The game is my part. I need to negotiate. Like I don't care if it's $2.
But I think everybody's different. Like I've heard a lot of people that are just like I am. Now I'll show them too. If they're overpriced, I'll show them. I'll be like, I'm a reseller, and this sells for less than what you're asking for. Like I like it.
Me, I would have a harder time doing that. I would have a harder time doing that.
But that's why everybody's different.
Exactly. It's a great price.
Yeah, but there's a different approach. It's how you approach it. So you can use all these different techniques, but it's how you approach it. Like if you're just like Kat's like, see, that's a ripoff. This goes to this. You're probably not gonna go well
but
for you.
I've gotten a lot of things like that. Yeah. But I think it's like I'm respectful about it. I'm like, hey, I resell. Like, look, this isn't even selling for that much. Yeah. And
here's
I mean,
a good
then
way to do it, Kat.
That way, and they'll be like, well, what would you pay? And I'm like, well, with fees and everything, I'd pay this. And I've gotten stuff like that.
If you ever want to do it, the nice way to do it is, hey, I don't want you to get mad at me for this offer. You can tell me no, I'll be fine. It's if you're dealing with that one person. So there's ways to kindly do it, I think.
All right, what am I doing? Eeny, meeny, miny. I'm gonna do my octopus. Oh, and then I'm gonna show you guys my sleeves finished. Here's the octopus for you. Silver Hair Stacker said the old folks home is their crew. All right, so that super chat was made for the octopus that's on my hand. The only thing I think you guys hadn't seen, and this came out really cool, is the underside. Look at the sun rays he did coming out of the water.
Looking great, Cat.
It's done. No, it's done.
Yeah, it's great.
So now all I have is a touch up after we go to Vegas, and that's it. And it's crazy because I'm like, I cringe at because this took 50 hours. And I will not lie, I was over it by the time it was done. I'm like, I am tired of being poked by needles.
Mine was 12, and I was like, 50 hours. I can't imagine that. Oh,
it was so crazy.
You right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed, and it's my right arm.
Put on the left. I'll be listing 50 hours. I could get so many listings in.
I know it was hard. I was like trying to like answer people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, with my left hand. But so I said I was tired, like I was tired of it. And then here's what I was doing last night was looking at other sleeve ideas for the other arm. It will be a long time, but I was like, while I'm thinking of this, let me just look up some ideas. I probably will do a couple of smaller ones before I do this again.
I was gonna say, well, we were talking about the Super Bowl. I'm gonna give you guys one big tip. All right, this is a buying tip. A lot of people list auctions from last Sunday. They're going to end on the Super Bowl Sunday. A lot of people did a 10-day auction that lists on Thursday, and it's going to end on that Sunday.
Almost
during the game, earlier in the day, go on there and look at auctions that are going to end that day. Add them to your watch list. It doesn't have to be anything to do with football. It could be anything at all. 120 million people normally are sitting around watching that game, not paying attention to eBay. I have purchased many every year. I have gotten some huge scores on Super Bowl Sunday. It's a great opportunity to buy stuff that's undervalued in higher dollar items as well. I think Kevin too. Haven't you picked stuff up?
Yeah, I've done it. It's been a couple years now, but I remember going up to my in-laws' house and watching the Super Bowl, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was buying stuff like crazy. I haven't done it in a few years, but
yeah.
Mark texted me to tell me what he really meant to say. He said he's glad he made it to see me beautified. Brooke's been doing my hair and my makeup. So special. She doesn't watch this. She comes in here for 2 seconds, so she won't hear me thanking her, but she enjoys doing it. So, Mark gets Rod every week. What time did this come in? Were you late? Oh, no, 9/11. I'm telling you, every week. 9/11, every week. Every week. That's his time. All right, here's Rob.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time.
Oh, I stole it. I'm stopping.
Steal my punch.
I did that before I had the octopus, though. It's just like habit of like when you see somebody do that, you just
always does the punch in the screen, so.
I did it before that was there. All right, Brad, Black Sheep Society sent a $5 super chat and said, as always, thanks for the show. Glad to see you back at it. I'm glad to see me back. I'm half back at it. I did record videos for the week though, so I am on that. And the ones tomorrow and Friday are both jewelry, and I did vintage jewelry and I did Bakelite jewelry, which is a really, really, really good one. If you guys haven't seen, like, that stuff's missed so much and it's worth a lot of money. What am I gonna do? Let's do the pillow fight. And I have to say too, I was so worried when I went in the hospital because it's just me and Brooke and Dalton now at the house, and he has not ever been without me for the night. And that little sucker was a champ and behaved for his sister and went to sleep faster than he does for me, and was really good. So that at least that part of stress of being in the hospital was good. So luckily, and listen, this is funny. And Kevin, I don't know. Are all your kids still at home? Is the older one still at home?
Sort of. So the oldest one, we had a flood in our basement, and it really ruined his room. So he's in and out of the home for now. But hopefully by the end of the month, he'll be back.
Well, so Brooke's 23, and I asked her like a couple months ago. I'm like, "Are you ever leaving? Like, what are you doing?" I mean, because she's 20 and she works for me. So, I mean, it's obviously nice for her. And she's like, why? I'm like, okay, I guess just stay here forever. Like, that was her response. Why?
My
like,
boy has a piece of property
rent,
he's gonna build a house on. So it's.
Well, we have another house, and that was her response. Mom, there's another house right there. Yeah, that I would have to like remodel and fix for you to live in it. You know.
Well, she could do it.
And she's like, or she wants to make this her tiny house. I'm like, listen. But anyway, so luckily she's there. She helps me with Dalton a lot. And Dalton was a champ for her. And I was so happy that he was. Because if he had a hard time, I would have been super stressed at the hospital. That would have been difficult. Beach Walker said, glad you're feeling better, Kat. Great panel. Thank you. You're welcome. And I'm going to give you the beach. Dun, 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 dun. I need to take a new video this weekend. We're going out on the boat this weekend. Maybe I can, because that was like 3 years ago that he was at the beach. He's a lot bigger than that now.
When's scallop season again, Kat?
It should start in June. Now I gotta look.
Summertime? Okay.
Yeah, because and I mean, we can fit no, it doesn't start till August.
So much fun. We went scalloping one day on the boat.
You gotta come with Dave. It's really amusing, but he won't get off the boat. I'll tell you, he will not get in the water. He stays on the boat. Yeah, because I think we can fit like 12 people on the pontoon. So y'all have to.
We get enough of Dave. No way you're getting me on a boat with Dave.
Be stuck in the water with Dave.
Zero chance.
Stuck on the water with Dave in a thunderstorm. Try that one. Yeah, it was kind of amusing. But yeah, no, we'll have to go again for sure. I have Rod that picture of me. I think it's me, Dalton, you, and Jess. Like when we went scalloping on my TV is like part of the Roku screensaver, so I see it like pop up through there. All right, Kevin answered that one. We did that one. All right, Sarah wants to know Facebook Marketplace, yay or nay?
I use Marketplace for certain things. If I see something big at a garage sale that I think I could flip for $100 minimum, then I'll do it. But other than that, it is what it is. You're signing up for more work. Once you list something on Marketplace, you're gonna have to tend to it with people giving you questions.
Chris, where do you normally meet people too? Because that's a big thing for a lot of people who don't know. So can you explain?
What do I do? I have a parking lot that I choose to go to. A lot of people choose the police station.
Yeah.
Usually don't have anybody come to my house.
I guess you got to give me more context with this one. Is it for, local selling, or are you trying to sell, shipping wise, or maybe you're referencing the connection with eBay now? So for me, it's Facebook around here would be I'm too far out in a rural area. I could do it, but it wouldn't be my best use of time. If I lived in a city, I would massively ramp up my Facebook, I think, and I certainly would ramp up my sourcing from Facebook, but I don't find it's a very good use of my time around here.
Sourcing, she said. For sourcing, she just posted.
Oh, for sourcing. So, yeah, same answer.
Chris, why don't you answer for sourcing?
Okay, for sourcing, I've used it for certain things. I'm always looking on there for cars to possibly flip, but car parts, certain things. I usually don't source my eBay stuff on Marketplace.
If I lived in a city, I'd source the heck out of it.
I used to source Facebook Marketplace when I worked a day job. That's when I was on because I was sitting at my desk, just on there all day long, looking for video game lots, toys, anything good that would pop up and stuff like that. But I will tell you, it's especially if you live in a city or buy like a big city, it's tough because there's a lot of competition. Competition is going to be there. One of the tricks I used to do is if I see something that's very undervalued, like for example, if I saw a video game lot that's worth $400, they have it listed for $100, I'm going to send them, hey, if you take this down, I'll offer you $150 and come pick it up now, or I'll offer you $200, I'll come pick it up. So I would offer more than what they're.
So you're the jerk that gets me the deal where I agreed to it, and 5 minutes later they say somebody else offered me this. Thanks, Ron.
You snooze, you lose, buddy. You snooze,
Hey,
you lose. But I mean, you have to be creative. You know, you have to stand out in that way. That also can backfire on you, though. It's happened to me before that people say made a deal and stuff like that. But I would tell you, deals are never yours until you actually pick them up.
And always ask something else too. What else do you have? Do you have more stuff?
That's what my next thing I was about to say is. So
I got a whole barn buyout like that one time. I bought like a bag of plush from them. And I asked them, and they ended up giving me the whole barn for like a couple $100. They're like, you can have everything. And I think I have videos. It was like when I first started my YouTube. So it was like 4.5 years ago, I think. I got the whole, I might have even got it for cheaper, like the whole barn and like 3 trailer fulls of stuff. It was crazy.
I would say one tip that I would use when I would look at people like stuff in Marketplace, I would look at things in the background of their pictures and offer to buy things in the background. See, hey, would that be for sale? I've done that. Or like, or if you find an item, that you like, I also use that technique at garage sales. When I'm at your garage sale, I'll look in your garage because the garage is open and ask if I can buy
hats like that once. They had hats hanging in the garage. Right. I did do that. I'm like, hey, would you want to sell some of those hats?
All the time. Yeah.
I just did it this last week.
But also too the biggest tip is I would say is when you look at their item, like an item that you want, click on their other stuff. And you know, sometimes they have other stuff listed that may been sitting up there for 3-4 months. Bundle. Or I go back, like a lot of people look what's the newly listed items. I go back like 2-3 months and message those people, because how many times have you messaged someone and then they never responded to you? A lot of times if they did it to you, they probably did a lot of other people. They get busy and they never sold those items. So I message people that have stuff up for 3-4 months, and I've gotten great deals and stuff because people thought it was no longer there.
Like, hey, you listed it 4 months ago.
Correct. Hey, is this still available? Oh yeah, it is. I just never got around to selling it. Hey, well, it's been up for 4 months. Would you take half the money for it? And then I get a lot of good deals that way.
Yeah.
So I'm banned on Marketplace, so I can't sell or buy on there. I do have other accounts I could use, but I hate switching back and forth, so I really don't do it. But Shannon, my employee, we got a lot of vintage Christmas stuff for $100, like giant lots. And I sold 3 ornaments and made that $100 back. And I mean, we got a lot of stuff. So Shannon keeps an eye on Marketplace for us. So we do source from there, but it's almost like Kevin. It's few and far between because we're so rural that like, there's just not a lot of really good stuff. And that was funny because we actually sent Brooke to pick it up. And apparently, like, this guy got divorced. He was pissed off at his ex-wife. And he said, I know this stuff's worth a lot of money, but I just want it gone. Like, so it, like, he was happy that he sold it for less than it was worth, just as like a, yeah.
I've been to those yard sales before. Those yard sales are
where they're like, give me $1.
They're awkward because they're like the scorn of a woman or the man that's there, and they're just pissed off, and they're like, they give you like an angry answer, but like they're happy it's gone, but they're just still like mad at the situation. It's awkward, but it is what it is.
I know I have a whole shed full of woodworking tools that I've been like sitting on, and it's funny because Brooke's dad, which my other ex-husband, wants to buy now my newest ex-husband stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. And I mean, it's not him. Him and I have been friends since high school. We've been friends since we were kids. And we still get along really great. But I'm like, and this is me. And I'm sure a lot of people are like this. I'm like, well, what if I want to woodwork? Like, I have time to woodwork. I know how to use the tools. So I'm like, do I sell them or do I keep? Then I'd have a whole empty shed. If I did that, I have a big, nice, another empty shed to fill up. But yeah, so I haven't decided. I'm banned on Marketplace because my 75-year-old mother used to work for me and did my cross posting, and Facebook does not allow vintage license plates. Oh, Kevin, I have one from Kevin sitting on my desk. Facebook does not allow the sale of license plates, where Mercari, Poshmark, eBay does, because if they're older than 3 years, you can use them as decor or whatever. Kevin has license plates up in there. So my mom got a warning on Facebook that said these are not allowed, and my mom just clicked it off and kept listing. And we had hundreds of license plates. So that caused me to be permanently banned on Marketplace. Thank you, Mom.
Have you tried to go back and look to see if you're still banned this time?
Yeah.
Still, wow.
Because I got banned before because I used to sell chickens, and then Facebook changed their policy where you couldn't sell live animals, so they banned me for that. And they did eventually let me back from that, but I think this is like, I don't think they're letting me back. Yeah. All right. Rose says, I would like to try and get 6 figures this year. What's your best tip to try and achieve that?
Well, list good items that are going to sell. I did over 100,000 in sales in 2023 on eBay alone, and what I did was I listed at least 5 items a day, and I was diligent about it. And I had a ballpark of I shot for about $400 a listing a day. That's how I did it. Now that's like Kat said, that's not $108,000 in profit. That's in sales on eBay. So
Yeah, I'd say assuming that you have enough inventory and the sourcing methods are good enough to do it, I would dedicate a time of day that is blocked out to get that. And I don't always do this, but when things start to go bad, I block out a certain time. So whether it's an hour and a half of a part of a day, and make it the same every day, and get in a place where there's no distractions and focus on the listing.
Sell one item that's $100,000, you'll be right there. So no, but I would say the biggest thing is knowing, break down the numbers. You got to be analytical about it. Break down the numbers. What do you need to achieve on a monthly basis? Break that down by week. Break that down by day. And then you need to know what you need to list. So, ideally, if you want to hit $100,000, you're going to have more than $100,000 worth of merchandise listed on eBay. Plain and simple. That's going to be one. So that's going to be step one. So what I would do is on January 1st this year, I would have looked at my inventory, how much do I currently have listed on eBay, and then how much more I can list throughout the year. And you got to be consistent. Consistency is going to be huge. Also, to monitor those numbers. So at the end of January, I would reassess my account. Okay, am I on pace? Did I hit my, was it 8,500, whatever I need to do to hit $100,000 for the year? Right. Okay, I'm ahead of the game. Great. Then the shorter month like February, even if you fall a little bit more short, you're still going to be on pace. Or hey, I need to add XYZ this month because I'm behind $3,000 for my goal at this point. So you just need to break down the numbers and break them into smaller goals. Do it by quarter, do it yearly, then by quarter, then by month, and then by week, and you should be able to achieve that.
So I can answer this really easy because that's my goal for profit on eBay alone. And you need if you're running like 40 to 50% profit margin, you need $500 in sales a day, which means you should be listing $500 in items a day. It's $273 in profit a day. So depending on where you're buying at, I sold 168,000 on eBay. So if I figure I'm at like a 60% profit margin, that's 96,000 in profit. So I hit it. So my best tip is, and I just looked, we have $348,000 in inventory listed to make that 160 in sales. But I have a lot of slow sell-through rate items that take forever to sell. But I would say it's going to be list. Like you can't expect, like people expect to make $200 a day and you're listing $50 a day. If you're not listing the amount you want to make every day, don't expect to make it.
Know your numbers.
And the 6 figures right at that $500 a day. So you're looking at 15,000 a year, or a month, 15,000 a month.
Let me add something to this because they've all said it, but haven't said it. It's the dollar. I think you did it. Dollar amount. Chris did. Yeah. The dollar amount is what is key because there are days where life just takes over, and if you have this goal of 15 listings, quantity. you might have this day where you just can't. You just don't have time. You get sick or whatever, if you got that dollar amount, and I've had those days before, you go find your 3 top dollar items you can find, and you hit the dollar amount as opposed to listing 12 things. So something to think about.
Also, too,
yeah, definitely dollar. And I think, Kevin, you're the first one I think that really said that and kind of like brought that forefront.
Well,
like
back when I started, it was
dollar
list 10
amount.
things a day, list 10 things a day, list 10 things a day. And that's fine. Many people do that and succeed, but life gets in the way sometimes. And I would make sure every single day, I would try to push that out a little bit. And I'm going to list something I do not want to list today. One thing, that's the first thing I'm listing. Then I'm going to list a large item. And then I'm going to list whatever, because there's stuff we all look at and we're like, oh, I'll list that. It's easy. And then you get this giant death pile that is truly a death pile that you hate. So you got to be disciplined.
Yeah, you got to be disciplined. I totally forgot what I was going to say, but yeah.
Well, I skipped out a turn, so you already talked.
We're good.
Like, my employee was doing that, and I noticed it, like, because she's like, I'm almost out of stuff, but there's some really nice fishing poles and a pin, rod, and reel in there that I know she doesn't want to list. And I said, okay. I said, this is what we're doing. And this was just last week, because we have so much stuff that's like going in and out. And I will bump stuff up front. Like, if I, like today, I picked up a train horn today. This is a cool friggin' antique train horn. And I'm going to try and hook it up to my air compressor, and I might blow my eardrums. I hope I don't. But it has like where I can hook up my compressor. But I told her, like, this shelf, I'm like, I see stuff sporadically on these shelves, because we have like a staging area almost, where when I go thrifting, like the stuff from one video is on one shelf, where if you guys email and want to buy a purse, I'll know exactly where to go for it. And I said, no, like, we're clearing the shelf. I'm like, I don't care what's on it, because it's the same thing that I was doing, like Kevin just said. That's how I ended up with a death pile I hated. It was all the stuff I didn't want to list. So it'd keep falling the bottom, and then that pile of stuff I didn't want to list gets bigger and bigger, and you really don't want to do it. So I told her, I'm like, nope, until one shelf is cleared, you do not go to the next. That is it. Unless, again, if I like the stuff Brooke's picking up tomorrow, I told Rod this, we got a Hermes rocking horse that's worth about $3,000 that we're picking up tomorrow. And I paid $800 for it. But that, like, I've already told Prissy, I'm like, that will be listed the day it comes in, because that by itself will make, the profit will make half of my invoice for that, for that auction. So, like, when I get stuff that's over $1,000 in profit, I'm going to bump it to the front of the line, because I want to make my money back as fast as I can.
Yeah. Two things I always bump to the front of my line: high dollar items and big items, because space is also money. But another thing I would say too is, one thing that I did too is I would create a digital death pile. Like, I'd spend one day and I would just create 30, 40 listings, and I had those. So those days where, like Kevin said, life gets in the way, your kids get sick, Kat ends up in the hospital. She just said she couldn't list for 4 days. If she had a digital death pile, she would go in her drafts, and she can literally from the hospital just knock out 5, 6, 7, 10 drafts and be done for the day.
I have 300 drafts, but they're not priced. So I need to keep like a bank of priced ones where all I have to do is hit one button. And I had Brooke bring my laptop in, and I'm like, I'm just not feeling it. And I mean, that happens. And I will tell you, we had our first $0 day in, I think, over a year while I was in the hospital. But we did like 800 the day before, and we did like 600 the day after. So, I mean, I don't know that necessarily. I think we're going to ship them. We'll probably ship them almost in like the golf club boxes and maybe tape 2 together. They're like expensive deep sea saltwater rods that are pretty valuable. I think they're probably a couple $100 a piece. So we'll probably use like what are the golf club ones? 8x8 by 48, I think.
Or 5x5 by 48 or 6x6 by 48.
Yeah, so I'll probably have to put 2 of those. And I think they come apart once. They don't come apart more than once, but they do come apart once.
Give it more strength.
Salt and half and some super glue.
Thanks, Roy. The Gallbladder Club. Listen, I'm telling y'all, I've had no surgery in my life, minus having kids. And the amount of people that commented that they had it done is like absolutely insane. And my poor daughter, I'm like, it's genetic. And if you guys don't know, weight loss causes it too. And I've lost 50 pounds in the last year. So I had like triple whammy. I like weight loss. My mom had it. And and my poor daughter driving home is like, she's not liking like what I'm telling her. Sorry, kid. Yeah. So it is partially genetic too. All right. What are we giving Roy?
You get another super chat after that one too.
Okay. Roy, I'm giving Roy the eagle. Dun, 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 dun. Michael Lynn. Hi, friend. She said, hi, Kat. You look great. Hoping to get out to the remix. Do you guys suggest it for fairly new resellers? We have not touched on this tonight. So I'll say real quick before Chris starts answering. If you don't know, Rod and I both will be speaking at Boss Reseller Remix in Las Vegas. It's coming up in about a little over a month now. And yeah, so Chris, I don't know. I mean, if you guys have been to it or not.
I haven't been.
Last week we got it. I would answer generally too about any of the get-togethers.
Yeah.
You know?
So I went to the 127. I haven't been to the Boss Reseller Remix, but I went to the 127. That was my first meetup, and it was awesome. I mean, you don't have to be an educated reseller. If you like reselling and you like talking to people about it, which you probably do, because there's not a whole lot of people in your life. If you're a reseller, at least for me, I don't have a lot of other people close to me that I can relate to in this field, you know. So going to the 127, it was just a long hangout with my buddies. You know, I was a co-host on the Reseller Locker Room at the time, and man, we all just bonded so well with everybody we met from that meetup, and it was a great time. I highly suggest going to any meetup you can regarding reselling.
I'll shout out Plains to Profits in Omaha, in Nebraska, I think. Yeah, Omaha. And then Ray Nashville Flippers has one in Nashville on April 25th. I am tentatively going to that one. I went to Boss last year. Had a great
Tell us
time.
about that, Kevin, the Nashville one.
Nashville,
April 25th, you said?
It's free, quote unquote. In other words, there's not a fee that's sent to them. It's kind of, you know, a la carte, and you choose what parts of it. But it looked really fun last year. Ray asked me to come this year, and I'm going to do my best to be there. Since Chop Commons and Dib Did are a sponsor, I probably should show up.
So I will be at the Boss Reseller Mix with Kat, as she stated. So if you guys want to come down, meet us, say hi, we'll be down there. I'll be speaking with Carrie from American Arbitrage Cards. We'll be doing a panel about the autonomy of garage sales. Also, too, we'll be talking about collectible market. So you guys can ask us any questions you want. Usually when I speak at a reselling convention, I spoke at a couple in the past. Usually the presentation we do is 10, 15 minutes long, but I think it's more valuable to answer questions from the audience, kind of like we do here on a Tuesday night. Be real specific to what you guys want to learn, and we really make it, make the audience involved in that. So, but just like Chris said, it's worth its weight in gold to go to any of these events. It doesn't have to be an educational one. It could just be a networking event. Could be fun. Like, honestly, if I didn't go to Prison of Profits event in South Carolina, I would never have met Kevin, and I never would have met Kat. And now, I'm literally partners on the show, partners in, Dibbit doing stuff over there in Threads and other stuff. And the networking I've gotten from the community and the amount of help I've gotten has helped succeed my business. And it's worth its weight in gold. So like Chris said, reselling is very lonely. Highly recommend it. If you guys can just get to one of those events, get there, because you will have contacts that you can talk to on the phone, people you can reach out to. It goes a long way.
Yeah, I think it's perfect for new resellers for all the reasons everybody said. I mean, like, you can't just walk up and talk to anybody about reselling. Most of them are going to look at you like you have two heads. Because it's not a comment like, oh, you're selling other people's junk.
I'd say, let me
ahead.
add this, because I always think it's important for people, I think, but especially if you're that reseller out there who's a reseller and, your family's not even part of it. They don't even like that you do it. They think that you got junk piles everywhere. Or if you're single, I think it's even more important for folks like that. And I found them almost all of them to be very, very welcoming.
Yeah, like I said, like, a lot of people don't want to hear. My favorite thing is, I make over 6 figures. Like, don't look at me like I'm not good as you. Like, I bust my butt. I make good money. And I think having an environment where people are going to support you, you can talk, you will get so many ideas. Boss in particular, like, is gonna, like, there are so many topics. Me and Rod, like, talked about that. But they're just as valuable. Like, the teaching ones, the networking ones are just as valuable. You're going to build connections. You're going to make friends. You know, like Rod said, like, I met Rod there. He ended up on here. Like, now I get stuff from Rod. Like, Rod, if he has too much inventory, I'll get designer boxes. So, I mean, there's just so many aspects of it.
The knowledge, though, too. Like you have educated me. Like, I sell collectibles and pop culture stuff and cards and comics. Kat doesn't know. She doesn't know any of that stuff. Where on the reverse side, like, I don't know anything about linens. I don't know anything about, you know, like glassware, stuff like that. So, like, the amount of knowledge we get from each other is so valuable.
Yeah, and like the jewelry too. I know, like Eric OBX, like video, and like me and Eric hadn't talked in forever. And I think a lot of us are like that because we're busy. You know, I'm not talking to these people every day. Yeah. But Eric said a garage sale. Cat, he's like video chatting me. I don't think we talked in like a year, but I answered him and I was happy to help him, you know. And I think you make those connections and you don't. And I have friends like that from high school. Like, I could not talk to them for 6 months and we pick up right where we left off. And, you know, that there's nothing wrong with that. So I think you'll make friends. You'll learn a ton. It's tax deductible. I like to say that every time. And of course, don't like overextend yourself. You know, if you don't have the money, I wouldn't say push to go. I do think it's worth the money. What I did is I did mine on Priceline and did 6 months, no interest. I'm like, okay, like my room, the car, the flights, and just did it that way. And that way I'm not getting hit as hard, you know, with like a big purchase. But they're worth it. I don't know if Dalton will be in school. I've never been to Nashville. I would like to go to Nashville. Like,
That's what's
I think that would be fun.
I would also say too, when you guys go to these events, you can go out sourcing and you get to see different parts of the country. And if you guys haven't gone sourcing or traveled to go sourcing, it's an eye opener because the stuff that you normally find in your area that you pick up all the time will be few and far between. And if you go to another state or other areas,
that's crazy.
Yes, or stuff that you wish you would have found, it may be plentiful in these certain areas. So that's a cool thing about going out to these events because you get to see different parts of the U.S. and you can learn a lot just from sourcing in these areas.
Yeah, I you know, the 127 event I went to was a highway sale, and we sourced while we were there, and I actually paid for my trip off of everything I brought back and sold on eBay. I made a video about it, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when I went to Birmingham, like same thing. Like Birmingham had different stuff from Phoenix. From like you see so much different stuff that you don't see at home.
I think this is an important question.
Okay, and then we got another super chat. Yeah. Oh, I didn't give her her thing. Let me give her her thing. I'm gonna give her the kitty cat.
Why don't we do those super chat and we'll get to that question?
Okay. Now I got to find it again. Oh, it's not a super chat. It was the member thing. But Sarah just said she's glad that we're all back this week. I know a few. I posted on Instagram, and I know a lot of you don't follow on Instagram, and I posted on Facebook. But I appreciate everybody reaching out. They're like, "Where's the podcast?" And like, and I was answering all my comments. I did keep up with that while I was in the hospital, so it was nice to see that. But we are glad to be back. All right, Sam wants to know: do some resellers have the me and it's only me or everybody eats mindset?
You know, when I go sourcing, if I see it, I'm not gonna leave it for somebody else to buy. Honestly, if I'm with my buddies, you know, then that's a different story. But by myself, I mean, it's stiff competition out here where I'm at. I mean, my main competition is swap meet vendors, and man, they flood the garage sales. I heard Kevin talking about, you know, if you're not, maybe it was on his podcast or something, but you know, he's saying if you're not at least a half hour early, you're late, you know, and that's how it is here. If you're not 45 minutes early, you're probably going to miss out, you know. Yeah. Even if it says no early birds, it's still, people are still there early, you know.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But
I don't you know, I don't really have any sympathy for them if I get everything good at that sale.
if I understand the question right, do some.
Am
Well,
I
of
frozen or is
course,
everybody else froze?
I think you're frozen.
You're froze.
Okay.
Okay.
I felt bad. I was interrupting, but maybe you didn't hear me. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's me and only me. So yeah, some people have that mentality, and I'm pretty forgiving of that mentality. It's not my mentality. It's one of the biggest criticism I get on the Commonwealth Picker channel all the time, especially when I'm out with Rod or when I'm out with Mike and whatever. And Mike people don't understand the friendships, and it's like, why would you go somewhere with this guy? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? And it's just my personality. So I would say just, do what makes you happy. And we went, Mike, it was a Betty Boop sale. Somebody mentioned it earlier. And Mike was there and he was starting to negotiate the deal. And I'm like, Mike's not going to buy this stupid Betty Boop. I knew he wasn't going to buy this Betty Boop. He's got a death pile so big. And he got out of it. He was very nice and gracious to me. And I bought the Betty Boop deal. And, and people are like, oh, you're always scamming stuff off of him and this and that. And I'm like, dude, just look at the last video. I found a massive video game haul. And Mike loves video games. Now, if Rod and Mike were together, it'd be tough because they both love video games, right? But with me and Rod, it was easy. It's like, or me and Mike, it was easy. You get the video games. You get the action figures. I'm getting the Betty Boop. And nobody wants Tupperware, so I got it easy.
So one thing I would say is I go out picking sometimes when I go on these trips with 3-4 of us at a time. And we're going to the same yard sales. And it makes it difficult. It does. But at the same point in time, there's a lot of knowledge you learn from these when you're out and about with other pickers, and that knowledge outweighs, because I can eat for a day or I can eat for a lifetime. The best way to think about it, okay? So you have to have a mindset that we are stronger as a community than we are individually. So for me, when I go out there, people comment on my videos all the time, why do you go picking with other people? Because they're going to get that or you're going to get that. But like Kevin said, I was out with Mike, Kevin, and we made a deal. We bought a massive collection of Family Guy items for $300. We just said, hey, you guys want to split it 3 ways? We'll just split 3 ways. Simple enough. We all can eat at the same time, or we can all go to the same yard sales and still find good items and come out. There
was 5 of us at the flea market just the other day.
And we
by
all
the way, Rod got there early because Dave told me it wasn't important to get there early, and he came out with an unbelievable find because he was there early. So, Dave, you're wrong.
Yeah, I had probably the best find of the day, to be honest with you. And you'll see that in an upcoming video. But yeah, I mean, you're strong as a community. So when everyone has that mindset, it's only me. Then if it's only me, you have no one that's going to watch your back. But if you take care of everyone else, it comes back tenfold. So just
depends on who you're picking with, right?
Yeah.
When you're picking by yourself, you don't have that mentality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this comes to too, like if you read through any of our comments, you are going to find people that do not like us for what we are doing.
No.
And that's educating people and teaching them how to do this. And they get mad. Why would you give away the secret? Why would you be selfish? There's plenty of stuff. There is plenty of stuff. And there's not a shortage. I go like Marsha, Red Cardinal Treasures, Elena, Treasure Diva Thrifts. The 3 of us go thrifting together all the time. I will tell you, and I don't know if Elena's still here, she'll run to the dang nightgowns before me. She thinks I don't notice, but I do. I don't get really mad. I'll like, if she's there first, that's where she's going. And that's okay because there's other stuff, that's fine. I can find plenty of stuff.
If your friendship isn't stronger than the find, don't go picking with somebody.
And a friggin' nightgown, right? Then a nightgown. And I mean, like she is still there. See, they're both laughing. And they know, and Marsha will put down a lot of stuff that I end up picking up, and then she'll see me sell it, and she's like, "Why'd I put that down? It was in my hand first." Well, you put it down, I picked it up, And I think we all, even though they sell a lot of the same stuff I do, we still gravitate towards different stuff. We still see stuff that the other ones don't see, even if you do sell the same stuff. And I really, really got flack for my teaching about online auctions. There are millions of items on auction all the time. I promise you. I wish my videos were viewed that much that I was screwing it up for you, but I assure you that I'm not. And like me, I'll bump auctions. If Shop Goodwill starts going high, I'll go to high bid. If high bid goes high, I'm going to proxy bid. There's multiple auction sites out there. There's plenty of stuff. And I mean, like for me, I started doing this because I love teaching and I love helping people. You know, when people are making better money or were in a bad situation and tell me I help them take vacation, like that is why I do this. Am I still making money? I am still making money. Am I gonna tell you about the estate sale before it's over? Nope, I'm not. I'm gonna buy my stuff and then I'll tell you what I got. But like the get-togethers and stuff, yeah, like I'll tell you know, like the big yard sales and like stuff like that, I'll tell you there's plenty of stuff there. But and like my people in my sourcing membership know, like nobody knows the auctions that I regularly buy from. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not stupid. You know, I mean, they're sharing generalized information and then they're giving away your secrets. And sometimes we have to keep them, you know, that's just business. But you like Kevin's saying, like with your friends, like, you know, and like Rod knows that I like selling the boxes. So if he has too many, he'll bring them to me. I never see stuff he likes, or I would tell him, but I don't.
I often buy stuff at yard sales and sell it to my competition because that's their niche. They like it. And so if I'm out picking, I'll call them up and I'll be like, I just picked this up. Where you at? And it's like, all right, if he's at the next sale I'm going to, I'll sell it to him or give it to him right there and they'll return the favor.
And I would say one thing, but based on what Kat was saying too, videos, because I know Kevin gets those comments. I've gotten this. Chris, I'm pretty sure you guys got on there when you were in the locker room there. We're giving tips and tricks because we want to help educate you guys to be better at what you do. And we know that not everyone's going to take those tips and tricks. I can search YouTube right now to how to start $1 million business. All of us here, all 400 people that are watching us live could watch that same video. Out of all those 400 people, how many people think are going to follow through? Maybe 10 are going to like the idea. Then 5 are going to do the research. Maybe 3 are going to follow through step 1. And then to the end, maybe 1 person is going to take it all the way to the end. So when we give all this information out, I want you guys to be my competition so then I can move on to something else and educate myself and challenge myself to find something new. This is all of us do this because we are hungry for education and we love that part of the business. And we keep giving this stuff out for free because we don't care, because we'll just pivot and go to something else. Like there's plenty of money out there for all of us to make.
I want to add one more thing, because the elephant in the room is there is money in content creation. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Oh,
and if I were to quit for that reason that somebody just said, or any of these people, somebody else would come in and do it. It's just the way the world works.
That's also true.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like we're doing it, and so like I feel like I'm like the least clickbaity person ever, and somebody like yelled at me yesterday and I'm like, what? Like my whole video was talking exactly about what my thumbnail. I mean, I mean, it is what it is, and we're all making money. And if you don't like what we're doing, don't watch, you know. And like Kevin, I would love to have the comebacks, and I've started where I do, because I used to just delete them, and now I'm like, no, I'm not deleting them. I'm gonna tell them what I think. Like I'm over this, you know, like. And I think a lot of people
who say that are watching the content, right? So they want to enjoy the content and the knowledge, but don't want anybody else to have it. So
the hate watchers are the best. That literally watch every video just to tell you what you're doing wrong, but yet they keep coming back to watch your video because they want to just tell you what you're doing wrong.
I've learned so much from viewers.
People don't realize the time. Yeah. Like the time that we put into it. Yeah, we're getting paid, but we're also putting 40 plus hours a week a lot of times just into YouTube, you know.
Kevin made a great point though.
That's like me on my soapbox.
My biggest thing, I love it when you guys correct me in my videos and tell me what I missed. It's my favorite thing because I have a laundry list of items that I never knew about until my viewers comment on my videos, say, hey, you missed that. And I'm like, and then I was like, hey, what was that about? And then I went back and watched the video again. Then I started researching online.
And you learn.
Yeah, you learn. So I'm learning just as much as you guys are learning from us. So it goes both ways.
LaDon asked how I'm doing. I'm doing a lot better. I'm still sore, but not like overly in pain. It is definitely getting better. And they said a week to 2 weeks. Tomorrow's a week, so hopefully. The hardest part for me is staying out of the gym, because for the last year I went to the gym 5 to 6 days a week, and I cannot go to. I could, but I can walk on a treadmill with no incline, and that's all I can do. I was like, I can't do legs, and he's like, no. I'm like, can I do this? No. Can I do this? No. So I'm just like trying to sit still is what I'm like. I went and picked up from an auction today, and I had to get my friend's dad to come with me because I couldn't lift anything. Like a box of hammers is more than 5 pounds. And you know, so I'm standing there like, and I'm like, I want to just grab it because it looks little, you know, like I know I can lift it, but I behaved. All right. I don't know if we have, if anybody on the panel has an opinion or in the chat. I do want to say before I read this question, please do not go political with your answers. I don't want politics in the chat. So, do you think the new tariffs with Canada will affect sales?
This last question of the night, Cat.
Yes, I didn't see the time.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. Last I heard they were paused for 30 days. Last I heard they were paused for 30 days. So, you know, I don't know. Time will tell.
All right. I won't go political. I'll just answer it. So, if hypothetical, if Cat's nervous here. Cat's nervous. If you shouldn't be. I taught in public high school for 21 years, Cat. I know how to walk the line. Listen, if they were ever implemented permanently, it would have I think, a tremendously negative effect on Canadian resellers. It would have virtually no effect on American resellers. There's my opinion.
I'll go with what Kevin said.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with what Kevin says too. All right. I am going, we're going to do the super chat.
Yes.
And then we're going to let Chris and Kevin and Rod and me tell you what we've got going on. And then we will get off here because it's late. My flipping banker says, thank you. I will continue to follow and watch all of you. You're excellent. Do I have to apply to district to live sell? I'm ready to move from whatnot. So I'm going to throw this to Kevin and let him answer and hopefully go over what I would go over.
Do I have to apply to district to live sell? So you would go and you would become a member of any of the marketplaces that you're interested in. And then after that, you would apply to sell in the ones that you want to sell in. And some of them have different requirements to sell live and some don't. I've said that in all of our marketplaces that I will mention in a minute when I show at the end. I've been so good today. There's only one that requires a subscription to live sell. That's Shop Commons. There's a reason behind it. It's $4.95 a month. The rest of them we will, unless there's a reason not to, you would be approved to be a live seller as well. So you'd have to do it individually with each marketplace.
Perfect. I got to do it. I'm giving you Kevin.
Thank you.
I got to do it. Here you go.
I can tell Chris never seen that before.
Did you take
he almost made it.
Did you take Ryan Root's body for that one and put my head on it? I think that's what you did right there.
I don't know.
I'm turning 48 here pretty quick, y'all. You're gonna have to do an updated version with a few more wrinkles and a
little bit of wrinkles.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Here's Chris to tell you where you can find him and what he's got going on coming up soon.
All right, you can find me at Eazy Pickenz on YouTube and on Instagram. Right now, I'm going through a revamp of my eBay store. I'm redoing my garage, so I've got some videos coming that are going to be documenting all of that. So stay tuned.
What about your car channel?
Oh,
perfect.
Easy cruising. Yeah. Easy cruising. If you guys like car shows, I go to a lot of local events around here in SoCal. I've got a couple of classic cars, so look out for them.
Perfect. There's Kevin.
All right. I'm just going to shill district marketplaces here real quick. Dibdit is the mothership. It's the one that's well developed. The rest are, so is shopcommons.net. That's a wholesale marketplace. Dibdit, don't go over there and sell, stuff that's not really appropriate for the marketplace. Although we allow things in live selling that we don't in others. But it's really rocking and rolling. We've gained, it's just blowing up. I'll just say that. especially today with Dave's video coming out yesterday about quitting eBay to sell all over there. Everybody thinks he's going to fail. He's not. He's going to do great. All right, Divdit Sports, which is sporting goods, golf stuff, and whatever. We hope to develop that marketplace that is new. And these are all .coms. Divdit.com, divditthreads.com, divditsports.com. And I don't know if you want me to announce the other one
Go ahead,
or not,
Duncan.
Rod. I'll let you do it.
No, you can do it.
I'll do it. Divditcards.com. We're going to make a huge push on cards over there. And it is in collaboration with Rod's podcast with Carrie and Tim. No Bangers Sports Card Podcast. We're doing a collab with those guys on that. Polishandbrush.com, which is beauty. Everything from cosmetics to curling irons and everything in between. Shopcommons.net is the wholesale marketplace. And I'll even shout out Dave's Kitchen Marketplace, which I do not own a stake in. And it's going to kill it as well.
All right. Rod?
So just like Kevin said, make sure you guys do come over the district. Please apply to Threads and district cards, Divdit cards. We will be approving people, and we're going to be doing a grand launch very soon where we're going to do raid trains. So make sure you are set up for success when we do set that up. So that all be listed on there. I dropped a brand new video on my card channel today, picking, punching cards. I'll be dropping a new video on picking and punching tomorrow. And then on Wednesday at 11 a.m., I have a brand new podcast doing sports cards with Tim from Over the Years and Carrie for American Arbitrage Cards. It's called No Bangers Sports Card Podcast. If you want to learn about cards, low dollar cards, we call it No Bangers because on Whatnot, they all sell bangers. And we pull out nickels and dimes make dollars. So if you guys want to learn the grind, come check us out on Wednesdays at 11 a.m.
Perfect. All right. I am probably going to go inside, throw up a thrifting video on catch treasure hunting. So that'll be up here in the next 20 or 30 minutes. And then tomorrow I'm going to have a high dollar, just a general jewelry video. Rings, necklaces, bracelets. And then Friday's going to be the Bakelite one. That one is my favorite.
I'm supposed to announce one other thing. Dave told me to.
What'd you forget?
Friday, we're doing an all giveaway raid train. So we're going to do giveaways it'll go from me to Dave to Carrie to Rod to Mike on all of the Divdit marketplaces. And we're going to raid each one and do nothing but giveaways on each one Friday.
Wow.
Sorry to interrupt you, but if I didn't do that.
No, you're good. I think that was it. Yeah. Thrifting video later. And then tomorrow, the jewelry video. And thank you, Chris, Kevin, Rod, for coming back. Thank you all for all the well wishes. I appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week. Bye for now.